Hey, Bulls and Bears. Hope everyone is doing well. Back with another Economic Edge financial news slash economic collapse update. And yes, there is an economic collapse right now. It doesn't mean that it looks like it's collapsing. But when you look at everything that's being done to prop the economy up, we know that we have major problems. And the risks right now are skyrocketing. I would be very careful about having a lot of money in the markets right now, in the banks. In fact, we've got 15,000 car dealers had to cease operations today because of an attack. Let's go ahead and start right here. CDK Cyberattack shuts down auto dealerships across the U.S. And we told her this was going to happen. Just wait till it hits the banks and wait till it hits the entire grid with all these attacks right now. Remember, the hostility between the United States and the rest of the world, I mean, many countries right now, we've never seen it like this since I've been alive. Maybe this could be an all-time high moment or a point of hostility when you look at all the BRICS nations that are now teaming up and going against the U.S. But anyway, global company that provides auto dealerships across the U.S. with software for managing sales and other services has been hacked, prompting the company to temporarily shut down most of its systems. Now, the thing was, that is preventing about 15,000 car dealerships from making sales. Now, this was at the time of this news being reported. Hopefully, they've got it all cleared up by now. But just like we told you, things are going to escalate as far as these attacks, these grids being compromised, your information being taken. How many news stories have we seen about the data that was leaked from this company, from that company? I think I read one. Target had a leak. I mean, pretty much everywhere you shop, at some point, it seems like there's been some sort of data leak or a data compromise, right? So I think it's just going to get worse. It's just going to get crazier, right? But let's talk about this. Home prices are coming down in a few areas, but it's right now it's only the areas that saw the hugest boom. And we told you exactly what was going to happen in 2022. We said Texas and Florida, be careful about buying because so many people were rushing to those states for a lower cost of living. They were, pandemic fearful. Home prices come down in former boom towns, and the biggest three are San Antonio, Texas, Austin, Texas, and Tampa, Florida. In fact, those are amongst the popular cities. There's lots of different, smaller towns where prices are coming down, but those are the three kind of big, well-known cities that prices are coming down. And it's interesting because they're doing so much right now to keep this housing market propped up. We visit that here pretty frequently. Zero down mortgages are back. The government coming in buying most of the mortgages. Rescue programs, foreclosure prevention programs in place right now. Other debt programs in place right now, including debt forgiveness. Look at the student loans. Look at all the other plans and rescue programs that are out there. It's pretty crazy what they're doing right now to keep this economy propped up. So if the economy was really strong, why do we need all these rescue programs? Why do we need debt forgiveness? Right? The consumer is resilient and the consumer is propping up the economy is what we're being told. People have all this money. That's what we're being told. But when you look at the savings rate, why is it close to a 40-year low, going up on 45 years now? Why do we have to have all these rescue programs, debt forgiveness? Now they're talking about not including medical debt on people's credit reports. Why? It's debt. Is it not a debt? Right? So certain types of debt they're going to start discharging, student loans, medical, and it's going to expand because they need to cover up this economic collapse. Right now it's a consumer economic collapse where most of the country right now is buried in debt. But when you look at the top 10%, they're doing better than ever. And this is a wealth transfer up to the top 10%. We see the top 10%, they own close to 90% of all stocks. They own half of the real estate. The top 10%, folks, and the top 10% includes the investment firms that come in and they can buy up thousands of homes in one swoop, right? And it's usually on borrowed money. It's whoever can borrow the most money and buy up a property and then turn around and hopefully rent it out for enough to cover your costs or enough to cover your financing. That seems like it's the name of the game. Even with these big investment companies, a lot of it's just borrowed money. They're running on debt. And also corporate America, you see a lot of companies running on debt, not just investment firms, just in general. With 7,000 zombie companies that are only able to operate because they can take out more and more debt. They're just going deeper in debt, just like most of America, right? It's right now it's a whole debt-driven economy. As soon as the debt stops being pumped out into the population, companies, individuals, as soon as the debt stops being pumped out there, this whole system comes crashing down. This economy comes crashing down and crashing down hard, right? That's why they can never go back to an asset-based system of money. They can't go back to the gold standard because as soon as you stop the flow of newly created money that you can create at the click of a mouse, this whole thing comes crashing down. That's why they're terrified, I think, of a gold-backed currency like we see with the BRICS nations. Now, it hasn't been gold-backed yet, but they are moving in that direction with the integration of commodities and precious metals into their trade. Right now, their trading system, and it could escalate to where ultimately we see some sort of 100% backed system, right? But it's going to take some time, but that's actually a good thing because that gives us plenty of time to repair. And it's interesting because I see, some comments saying that I'm doom and gloom and this is a doom and gloom channel. It's just the opposite. Knowing this information gives you time to prepare. Right? Just ask anyone that's followed some of the trades that we did here. And by the way, speaking of trades, a couple of you are asking me if I'm going to be shorting Nvidia, and I would say no right now. I mean, this is a stock that's due for some sort of correction. I mean, look at this. Let's go to a maximum chart here. 2018, you could have got this thing for $5. Now we're $135. Now, when you see this type of parabolic exponential move to the upside where it's nearly vertical, at some point there's going to be a pullback. So actually, I may go in on just a few put options right now. And then if it goes up more, then I'll buy more put options. But I'm not going to go all in, or I'm not going to invest most of my funds here. All right, so let me do this. Let me go in on a put option here. And we'll check in a couple weeks and in a couple weeks and we'll see how we did here. But I'm thinking it's okay to do an entry level position here. I'm not saying you should do this, but I'm going to go ahead and do a small position right now. I'm going to have to check the price of the put options, but I'll let you know in my next report. Then we'll revisit this in a few weeks. But I buy put options that are like 4 to 6 months out. So I'm in it for the long haul. But the good thing about put options, if you get a big gain, you don't have to wait the 4 or 6 months. You can go ahead and liquidate it and take your profits, right? So I'll jump into that. We'll let you know. I've been correct on about last 9 of our trades here. And I'm not saying you should definitely follow me, but that to me looks like a no-brainer that at some point with this type of move, we're going to see a pullback in Nvidia. Let's talk about what's happening with some of this war situation between Israel and Gaza here. We've got the Houthis out there, the Houthis, whatever the heck they're called, doesn't matter. But they're attacking cargo ships. Cargo ships believed to have sunk in the Red Sea after Houthi attack. Sailor killed after Houthi attack. Cargo ship sinks in the Red Sea. What good is sinking cargo ships really going to do? It's just going to create further hostility. And what's on these cargo ships? Are they hauling paper plates to Target? Like, are they hauling toys to Walmart? Like, what good is it going to do to bring down a cargo ship? It's kind of like these people. Have you seen these people that block the roads? And they sit in the middle of the road to protest the use of oil and fossil fuels. Hey, how is that going to change? How is that going to make anything better? How is that going to stop people from using oil? Right? So you're holding up a whole road of traffic, and you're stopping, let's say, Karen from getting to her second shift job at 7-Eleven. You're stopping Larry from getting to his job at Walmart, working the return desk. Yeah, it's not going to do any good. Stopping traffic's not going to do anything. And when you stop traffic, you're also stopping electric cars that are in traffic. So you're punishing the people that are, in their view, helping the situation. It's just crazy. I mean, it's mindlessness, and it's just going to get worse. People are becoming more insane. I mean, look at all the different movements out there and groups that are, protesting this, protesting that. Of course, you have the anti-war movement at a lot of the college campuses right now. And I don't blame people for being mad about some of this stuff, but is it really going to do any good? Look at all the things that went down in 2020. Did anything change? Did anything get better? I think the next protest should be, and it probably won't be, but it should be about the economy. It should be how the banks are just printing trillions of dollars out of thin air, but most of the population right now has to scrape and work multiple jobs just to get by and run up a bunch of debt just to get by. Why is nobody protesting that, right? It's kind of like the Occupy Wall Street movement, right? So now nobody's targeting Wall Street anymore. It's everything else. Everybody's distracted by the latest protest or latest issue. All right, let's talk about something else that's been in the news here: the re-implementation of selective service and the draft, including women. Women may be required to register for the draft. That would be one of the most unpopular political moves of all time. So I'm doubting that would happen. I'm not doomish and gloomish enough to say I think this would happen because that would be very unpopular. But why is this even in the news, right? You notice when there wasn't so many conflicts happening, including the ones that we're involved in right now, right? We've said the United States, we've actually suffered casualties in some of these conflicts that are happening right now. A few years ago, people said I was crazy for even mentioning that. I said the U.S. is going to get involved, and I said it's going to come to U.S. soil. Just wait, I think something big is going to pop off here, and it may be something so big that even the top 10% that own most of the stocks and that own about half of the real estate right now, the big investment firms, the billionaires, it might be so big that even they will hit the sell button, right? So that's why I say I'm being cautious right now. I'm not very heavily invested in the markets, doing a few trades here and there, but I'm not definitely not all in. I'm not even as I'm the least invested in the markets right now that I've been in 10 years. I'm still invested, but it's very small amount compared to my usual investment amount. This was part of the NDAA, National Defense Authorization Act, a provision that would require women to register for selective service. Now, another thing too is about half of the population here in the United States, anyways, they're unfit. They're unfit for military service, that's for sure. So many people are sick, they have illnesses, and they're just out of shape, overweight. It would never work. It would be a disaster. But yet, that's something that's actually in the news, believe it or not. And we've got California home prices hitting all-time highs, folks. They're doing so much to keep this housing market propped up. Where does it end, right? So get ready. Get ready for more inflation. Hope you're invested wisely, and I hope you're ready for the black swan too to bring these markets down. And maybe it'll be an attack like we talked about at the beginning. Seeing more and more cyber attacks, compromises of systems, and be ready for anything, folks. As always, keep stacking. Come back for more news and updates. Talk to everybody very soon. Big love. Peace.